Are you ready? Okay, is there a motion to go back into regular session?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Ah,
You want to take a stab at, or do we need to go into executive session first, or is there? Okay.
all right. Okay, commissioners. As I mentioned yesterday, it seems like a long time ago, I had some language changes that were pretty standard to a lot of the other contracts we do. I've incorporated that into the document that we had previously before us. I fixed the verbiage on the amendment itself. I think it said the purpose of this amendment is to go from a 6-month to a 12-month or vice versa. But I just made clear that this was the second amendment to the original contract for the purpose of an additional 6-month period from January 1, 25 through June 30th, 25. You'll notice some whereas clauses. The first two are the statutory authority for the programs that we are contracting with team for. The third one talks about the recommendation that was made by the Court Services Advisory Board. The fourth one kind of explains the desire and behind the reasoning to move, and it was to provide comprehensive services and programming to participants. The other one recognizes team had operated a pretrial program since 2017, and the last one recognizes that team is using outside funding to provide additional services. That was a statement that was already in the contract that was before us yesterday. The amount, I left the amount blank pending the outcome of today's BET meeting. They will have a recommendation for the budget board to fund the contract in its full 6-month amount. And I believe that is, Chris, if I get this wrong, correct me, but $675,457.47. And that recommendation, I really appreciate it. I went and listened to BET's discussions. It was very, very thorough. And I think the solution that they're going to offer budget board is one that is very reasonable. So what it would do is to take the remaining budget available in the court services M&O account, plus the remaining budgets in the fee fund account and the GPS account affiliated with court services. And then the balance that we need to fulfill the 675 would come from one-time money. I think the thought from BET was that we needed to take a look at this issue going forward in depth so as not to build in those annualized increases that we've seen as a result of moving the program. Sorry. Thank you.
Cup, Joe.
Mm,
You been in Butch's office?
I can't talk. Generally, the language changes that I wanted to insert are the Article 2 terms and conditions, which are taken directly from the contract that we have with Cardinal House for the respite care. Thank you. I only had eyes. Thank you, Jessica. And then also in listening to BET, in a conversation with Mr. Steele, the original contract had the last billing date as July 1, 2025. Mr. Steele would like to change that to July 15th, 2025. So if the board is amenable to that, I'll make that change in the document that I presented to you. So basically an amendment to the floor substitute in the old way. So that would be changing the final billing date to July 15th, correct, Chris? Okay. And then there was one other change that I would like to make to clear up some confusion, and BET also discussed that. And if you look at Article 4, allowable cost, it says total payment and reimbursement pursuant to this contract cannot exceed, and it'll be the 675, 457, 47. And then following that sentence, it says this is a flat rate piece. Chris hasn't been billing us on a flat rate. He's been submitting detailed monthly invoices that are discussed in that paragraph below. So I'd like to strike out, based upon some conversation in BET, the language, this is a flat rate price as well. And so those were the only changes.
You said that figure was 675, 457?
Yeah, that
At
is
0 cents?
675. That's the amount, Commissioner Davidson, that's in the agenda language itself. 675,
47.
457, 47.
Thank you.
I don't have a problem doing the July 15th. Is that a problem, Madam DA, to go beyond this fiscal year?
Well, this one says,
Okay.
it's the billing cycle. So this one says July 1 anyway, which we do for most of our contracts. We actually go past that.
Yeah, that's purely on him getting his invoices submitted for that final month. The contract period itself for this one will end on June 30th.
Yeah, it says right here, the agreement period, yeah.
Yeah, so we've got the agreement language proper. This just allows Mr. Steele a little more time to finalize his budget and get to us. And, we hold encumbrances open, is it 90 days, Christie, or so?
Yeah, typically. Used to be until we released them.
So those were the changes that I had.
You have
That's
something you
excellent.
want to say?
Chris, just so you and there she is, Bridget. The PSA was one of the things that I really want to attach to the contract.
Okay.
You guys aren't ready for that. It's my understanding you're still trying to go through that. It's a very important piece to me because here's what I think it does for you and here's what I think it does for us and the DA. It's a protection device for us. It's a protection device for the public defender and the DA. For you, I think what it's going to do is once they start seeing that a lot of these people don't need all to be on CBR, this cost comes down for the county. After talking with Grant and after talking with some other people, I think one of the reasons I've been able to surmise that this contract is higher may be because everybody's on conditional bond right now, which is a heavier workload for everybody involved. So like I've said before, I think hopefully you can come back and you can show me a per participant cost breakdown in
Yes,
any future, and then start getting some of these people off of CBR and more moved to OR. So it's not.
Well, but that's contingent upon the
It's contingent upon
people
the
that
DA.
are not here at this table.
That's correct.
And
And
Commissioner
it's
Davidson,
not his fault that that's
No,
been
no.
the case.
No, that's not at all. We don't have that. So we don't have that PSA, and the district attorney is not willing to do ORs without an assessment. Therefore, the de facto is that everybody goes to CBR. It has nothing to do with him. It has nothing to do with anybody else. It's just the way that the DA is wanting to operate. And I understand her thought process in this. It's more of a protection for her than anything. So I get it.
and your concerns,
it's
Commissioner, are
labor
addressed in the contract language. They are addressed in the first version. It says they will use a validated tool, and I think Mr. Steele's indicated they're headed in that direction.
Yeah, they are.
In addition to what you were mentioning about everybody being on conditional bond and perhaps driving the cost, I think they also discussed in BET looking at this program as a whole, not just the team aspect of it, but the 4 positions that the county is now funding on top of what was once the entirety of the court services budget, and perhaps looking to see if we can streamline there. And Mr. Steele and I spoke a lot. He's been very gracious with his time, so
Good.
I appreciate that.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, if I may, Commissioner Davidson, agree 100%. I think and I'm not speaking for anybody but us, but we've been working with Bridget Biffle and with Vicki Bahena, and I think we have agreed, I know we've agreed on the assessment tool, and it's just a matter of getting it incorporated, implemented, and then making sure proper education is accompanied with that, so that everyone reading the outcomes of that assessment understands what those mean. And in addition to everything you said, and there's nothing really more to add other than the other caveat is if we are placing too many conditions on an individual that really doesn't need them, it can ultimately set a person back, and we certainly don't want to do that either.
Okay, so are you offering that as a motion by chance?
To adopt,
Well,
the
before you
document.
do, I would just make one change.
Sure.
Your third whereas,
Which one?
your third whereas on the first page, on
Oh,
the
I
third
left
line,
out court.
and then you say pre-trail instead of pre-trial.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
We're blazing a new pre-trail.
Yeah, well,
Okay, so the change would be to insert court before the word county in that third whereas and correct the misuse of the word trail to trial. Insert the contracted amounts per BET's finding the money to do the full amount, and then delete this is a flat rate price and change the July 1st billing date to July 15th.
I've got all that. Does Sharon have all that?
I'll
And then,
give her
okay,
the document.
pending encumbrance, right?
Well,
Because there's not one on this.
correct.
So, yeah,
And that
which is only that's a side thing.
it's going to have to wait some budget board action.
Yeah.
As well.
Okay. Now are you making a motion?
Second.
I'll let the two of you make this motion.
I'll make that motion exactly what he said with all the changes and pending encumbrance. Yep.
Second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
And let me just say, because of BET's work and their recommendation to use one-time funds so as not to ensure that this is an ongoing county expense, that's why I'm able to vote today. Yes, for this contract. I was greatly concerned about the ongoing expenses, and I'm real thankful that our service recipients are going to get the services they need too. So Chris, thank you, and thank you to BET.
Thanks to everybody.
Yeah,
All
definitely thanks to BET and everybody was working on this and everybody that stuck with us while we made sausage. So
Yes, and thank you from me too, to everybody. Thank you guys.
Okay, now do we still need to go into executive session or no?
hold on, I'm waiting for it to update. No, we can adjourn. If that's the chair's pleasure. Or we can
Let's go ahead and go into
recess until
executive.
tomorrow. Either way. Or we can go into executive session.
Let's
if you'd
go
like.
into executive session. I want to go and discuss the case.
Yeah.
Is there a motion?
So
All in favor, say aye.
Second.
Aye.
Motion to return from executive session.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Given that we don't have all the answers we need, are we looking to recess and come back again tomorrow morning?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, if we could recess till 10:30 on 12/13, that's 10:30 a.m., 12/13 in this room.
Second.
Prior to that, just being sure, are there any citizens who wish to be heard? Seeing that,